See it happen.
Jamaica will open its doors and welcome the region to home here in Jamaica in late July for the Caribbean Investment Forum, a forum that is set to lay out the course for investment and attracting same to the Caribbean. Jamaica will of course tell about the success stories that have been essayed through public and private partnerships and ask its regional counterparts how best opportunities can be created for the mutual benefit of all. I'll have some of the representatives of the Brains Trust of JAMPRO in the studio with me this evening to talk about just how much results are expected from this critical investment forum, the best of the Caribbean minds coming together to plot a future that should lead to the success of all. That's the topic here on Lead Story on this Wednesday. Let's start the show. Welcome to Lead Story here on CVM TV on this Wednesday. Now, it's it's quite pertinent to mention that I had a conversation earlier elsewhere with the Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Senator Aubin Hill, talking about the roadshow that the ministry will embark upon. He also had with him the head of the Trade Board, the CEO, retired Major Dr. Hugh Grant. So here's the thing. The fact is that Jamaica is doing some great things where investment is concerned. Hugh Blake, beg your pardon, Hugh Grant is a man in another field. Hugh Blake, yeah? So Jamaica is doing some great things where investment is concerned. And so leveraging that position that Jamaica currently holds, I'm sure that would have informed the organization of this event to say, okay, let us see how we can share what Jamaica has been doing well, hear what the rest of the region has also been doing well, and see how collectively we can create outcomes that can redound to the benefit of us all. And I imagine that that's what will be discussed July 29 to 31 when the forces gather in Jamaica for this Caribbean Investment Forum. I have with me this evening Chris Denny, he's VP in charge of investment linkages at JAMPRO, and Leon Ott, he's Deputy Executive Director at Caribbean Export Development Agency. Gentlemen, welcome to Lead Story.
Thank you very much, sir, for having us.
Good
to be here.
Good to have you here. All right, the first question obviously to ask is, does Jamaica command the kind of respect in the region sufficient for it to host the rest of the region in the form of the primary guide of this kind of conversation about investment opportunities in the region? I'll go to you first, Chris.
Well, I would think that Jamaica definitely has established itself as being fairly successful at attracting critical investments that make important changes happen for Jamaica. We've seen literally new industries introduced through JAMPRO, for example, with JAMPRO or investment promotion activities. So I think that Jamaica will be a deserved host for this regional effort, which is an important development for us. And I think that everybody in Jamaica who's serious about doing business, you may have a project that may need funding, you should consider registering and coming to the Caribbean Investment Forum. If you're an investor looking for good opportunities, again, you must think about this particular event coming up in July. And
is it true, Leo, for a layman, someone not in the fray, to look into the fray and say, well, Jamaica is a destination, is a country rife with investment opportunities and has the moral authority to guide a discussion about why people from outside the region should invest not just in Jamaica but in other parts of the Caribbean? Is that a fact?
That is a fact, actually. And thank you for having us here. In the Caribbean, we've seen, particularly post-COVID, all of the economies have really put their best foot forward to be able to grow their economies. Jamaica, in terms of regulatory reform and really putting in a pro-business administration that has really helped garner great investments into the country, has really positions it to take that lead. Caribbean Export, as the regional private sector development agency, we are very interested in positioning Caribbean Investment Forum as the premier business event of the region. This is an event where regional business opportunities are being proposed, where projects that are presented by project developers from the region get funding.
Right.
90% of our business participants are from the private sector. This is not a talk shop. This is not just a forum for mega projects. This is from big to small. It's a forum for everybody to do business.
Yeah, if we were to divide up the world, Chris, in terms of investment hotspots. So if you say, well, the Emirates hot right now, Europe has some opportunities, North America, well, the US and the kind of leadership, they're very unpredictable, so may not be as attractive as it once was. And then the Americas, and then you zero in the Americas on the Caribbean. Are we attractive relative to other investment hotspots now, you would say?
You know, one of the things that I would want to point to is the opportunity for us in the region to be more efficient with our production and consumption. We often consume things from without the region that are produced within the region. We've seen where some opportunities for greater efficiency in what we produce and what we trade to dramatically improve trade within the Caribbean. And I think a separate initiative is looking at things like that. I think the region clearly will see some opportunities as we see reason for uncertainty in normal trading patterns. Jamaica is there to identify and pursue those opportunities. So I think an opportunity like this with Caribbean exporters and Caribbean Investment Forum coming up in July is going to give us all a chance to drill down to some specific opportunities. And we do have some areas of focus. We're looking at data transformation, and that speaks to, again, efficiency. In Jamaica, we talk about full employment that is happening,
Yes.
but we also see low GDP growth.
Yes.
It speaks to our level of productivity. There has been an opportunity for us to be more productive. We have to look at how we do work.
Yes.
Right?
And that's one of the tough things we have to face, Leo. I'm happy Chris mentioned it because we have unemployment at under 4%.
Right.
So the textbooks teach you that that's almost full employment. But as he says, the GDP numbers have been very disappointing, and GDP performance is hostage to hydrological events. A long drought can scupper all the plans.
That's right.
A hurricane,
Things go wrong.
even a tropical storm, different from a hurricane,
right.
less severe, but it can do a number on the projections. So someone looking from outside in the region, do these things weigh heavily on a potential investor's decision to pitch tent in the Caribbean and do investments?
Well, this is why, and I think Chris was talking about this, we're really focusing on key transformational sectors for the Caribbean. And where we're framing this conversation is on 4 key sectors where there are gaps, but there's also the opportunity for the investment. That would be sustainable agriculture. We need to feed ourselves. We need to become, find a way to get a food security for the region. Digital transformation. COVID really showed us how digitally behind we were. And that is an area where foreign investment can really bridge that gap. You mentioned something very closely. A storm can wipe us out. We're one of the most climate vulnerable regions in the world. So helping the private sector do that transition to a green economy, that's a key transformation that requires major investment. And the 4th sector that we're framing the Caribbean Investment Forum in is in logistics and transport, which is a pain point, because we could have more trade amongst the Caribbean if there were better logistical options for us. So it is there that we need to escape a little bit this GDP numbers. I think that's what also marks development and all these things. We have to look at vulnerability. We need to see about the opportunity. And those are the different factors that come together at play. You get to learn about them in Caribbean Investment Forum. And what I like the most is that you get to hear the project opportunity from the developer itself. Because what the forum seeks to do do is to bring in the investor, sit them down with the project developer, so an actionable decision can be made that hopefully yields into a project that brings up growth and development for the
Leo,
region.
Chris, I have to take my first break. More on the Caribbean Investment Forum with these two gentlemen. It's set for late July in Jamaica after these.
Well done.
Jamaica, Relay for Life is back. Join the Jamaica Cancer Society on Saturday, June 7 at the Police Officers Club in Kingston. And let's walk, dance, and celebrate life together. From 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., we're honoring survivors, remembering loved ones, and standing strong in the fight against cancer. We'll have lots of prizes and surprises for the best teams. So form a team, purchase Luminaria bags, and let's relay for life. To register your team, visit www.jcs.live or call 876-927-3317. Brought to you by the Jamaica Cancer Society. Walking together with hope.
Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction. 'Cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people them I say we are my show tonight. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't put it down. Shine your lights on.
July 29 to 31, regional investment will be high on the agenda over the course of that period because Jamaica will host the Caribbean Investment Forum 2025. Couldn't be 24 or 26 now, could it, George? Chris Denny, VP Investment Linkages at Jampro, is with me along with Leonard, Deputy Executive Director of the Caribbean Export Development Agency. Gentlemen, all right, so we've gotten some of the heavier issues dealt with at the very, very top. So a potential investor, potential participant listening in wants to know, okay, so how will the schedule be designed for this forum? Who wants to take that?
So, well, let me start by saying that this is going to be a rare and unique opportunity for Jamaican business people, right? And I want to make sure I make it very clear. Jampro, it's being hosted in Jamaica. Jampro is the lead. And we want to make sure that we facilitate all potentially interested parties in Jamaica to get a chance to participate. Now, you may have a project that is looking for additional investors, or you may be seeking investors. Call us, and we will help you to see if you can fit into one of the pitching opportunities that we have, because the design of this forum is that there's going to be a pitch village. Where investors will be able to pass through.
Yes.
Right? There's going to be a high-end pitching
Angel
content.
investors and otherwise.
Yes, that's indeed.
There
All of the above.
Yes.
Right? There's going to be a high-end pitch contest.
Yes.
Right? So, and you can, express your interests. We'll help you to see if you could fit into one of those modes, if you can take advantage of that opportunity. Otherwise, come and see what's happening. Come and meet and greet and talk. So I just think it's a signal opportunity that we need to make sure that we take advantage of. We have the sectors that we're focusing on, right? I think one of the sectors that I'd want to mention as well was renewable energy. We want to make sure we have clean energy. Energy cost is an important factor, cost of production, not just in Jamaica, but across the Caribbean. So that is something that we want to focus on. We have so much solar energy, so much wind energy across the Caribbean. We want to get it right. We want to build resilience into our production, especially for food security, and in the way we do business in general. And so this is why I think I want to get the message out there to everyone watching that might be interested. Give us a call and we'll help you through Jampro. There is a CaribbeanInvestmentForum.com. It's a website that you can look at.
You got it.
Everything is there. It's well structured, right? So you can go and get further information. Let me not hog the show.
Yeah. But Leo, I wanted you to touch something as I heard Chris talk about the layout. You made a point about the logistics in the region. And for so long, from I was in university studying management, economics, business, we were frustrated as we learned and did the case studies about how disorganized travel is in the Caribbean, the movement of people and goods, a huge problem. And I just want to understand from you, what, if anything, the forum will do to speak to these traditional pain points and how they can be surmounted?
Listen, it's not about relisting the challenges that we've heard. It's about talking about the solutions. If I go back all the way to 2022, to the inaugural Caribbean Investment Forum in Trinidad, one of the projects that came out of there is a solution to connect Barbados, Guyana, and Trinidad via a ferry. I'm happy to report that that's one of our success stories out of Caribbean Investment Forum. That project, small, it's not connecting the entire Caribbean, but we take gradual steps to do that. Just got the investment, it's moving forward. We actually just got news that they're purchasing their first vessel to put this in motion. And it's about doing those gradual steps that help fill the gaps. We see it also, for example, I'm from the Dominican Republic. I'm very happy to know that there's now a direct flight from Kingston to Santo Domingo. It's the private sector really taking that step. And that's what Caribbean Investment Forum is looking to do, to position the private sector to fill in the gaps of pain points that we've had that we haven't been solved. That's what Caribbean Export does, be a champion for the private sector. In terms of how we do that, we don't spend the entire Caribbean Investment Forum, from when people go, they're not going to spend the whole day in death by PowerPoint or panel after panel. We spend half the day, talking about the problems, talking about the challenges. Then the other half of the day, people are engaged in B2B businesses. That is the life and blood of Caribbean Investment Forum. The pitches, particularly of the, we actually work with a cohort of projects to take them and prepare them so they can be eligible, or that investors can actually take an actionable decision with them. And that's something that we're very happy to do. And we're extremely excited to have partnered with the government of Jamaica, particularly the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, JAMPRO, which is a longtime supporter, and also the European Union, which has for us been one of the key partners for Caribbean Investment Forum since the inception.
Chris, a mighty oak was once a seedling. Yes, sir. So it has to start somewhere. You talk about the small steps. You were saying, before I put the question.
Well, I did want to say that there's also going to be opportunities for sponsorship. Right? I don't want to get myself in any trouble, but I know that if there are corporate bodies out there who see this as something that they want to be a part of, there's an opportunity.
When I look at the Caribbean, and I imagine myself as someone with cash, not cash to burn, but I have good cash. And I want
to invest.
To invest, not to burn, And I'm thinking of the forward poised areas. It's a clumsy phrase, but the meaning is communicated. That exists. And I'm looking at real estate in certain territories, real estate in Grenada, real estate in a couple other territories. I'm looking at tourism in Jamaica, even though with hospitality we have done so very well in putting in properties and refreshing properties, but then renewables as well that we spoke of, and then agriculture. And I'm saying, how is it that I come as a potential investor, and what is it that the forum is looking to do to me? I come with an open mind, so you don't have to open my mind. I come with that open mind. What is there specifically for me who comes with the open mind and with resources to be able to direct it into the area that best suits my risk-taking profile?
Well, I think if I may, I think that you would want to come with an open mind. I think you will receive information and inspiration. Right? You'll be hearing from people who are successful at what they do in those key focus areas, which I think is of common interest to all of us throughout the Caribbean. And the way the forum is designed, you'll get a chance to get up close and personal with your specific area of interest. And invariably, you're going to have an opportunity to engage.
So there is something there to nudge me along.
To engage in a project. I think so.
And if I may add, the other thing that you'll also get is you'll be able to read a prospectus from a project,
Yes.
Right.
know what's going to be your return on investment,
Yes.
what are the financial projections, you'll come out with certainty.
Yes.
And that is, for an investor, money in the bank.
Yeah, my favorite rapper Jay-Z says men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And Leo says the numbers will be there to help you to make your investment decision. This is Lead Story, our final break. Back with more after.
Join my private room. Only $1,000 for a grand time.
That I know me. We never said that. But who going to believe me?
That is correct. $4,350,000. Yes, go ahead. $4 million? I never approved that.
Yes, me go doctor tomorrow. So me have to get the money today, no longer. Then no me face that. Me never make no record or beg nobody no money.
Deepfakes are AI-generated images and videos made to look and sound like people we know and trust. They're used to spread misinformation, destroy reputations, and are used to commit fraud and scams. Don't fall victim to deepfakes. Protect yourself. For more information, visit broadcastingcommission.org or scan the QR code on screen.
Welcome back to Lead Story, the dying embers of the show. I'm still hanging with Chris Denny, VP Investment Linkages at Jampro, and Leonard, Deputy Executive Director, Caribbean Export Development Agency. So, gentlemen, this Caribbean Investment Forum, which will be held July 29 to 31 here in Jamaica. Some of the heavy hitters who you've already confirmed to speak to participants at the event, do you want to tell me who some of those are?
Well, I know that we will have our opening address from Minister Obin Hill, and we'll have a important presentation as well from the President of Jampro, Shuda Cox. Our inspirational speakers, we're still finalizing, so I don't want to let the cat out of the bag just yet until we finally confirm all the details and tie it up. But, you know, our focus is going to be on hands-on business opportunity, business opportunities and how you can come and do business.
Yes, and of course you're expecting, you've budgeted for how many people to come to attend?
We are targeting over 600 persons.
Yes.
So we are reasonably confident we're going to exceed that target.
Yes. And you see, very importantly, gentlemen, I don't want people to think that this is just a glorified forum for high net worth individuals, because one of the things that I know for a fact has affected some people who wanted, for instance, get involved in trade, Leo, is that they think trade is for the well-heeled, is for the wealthy. Even though they have good products, they say, well, why should I even bother trying to get this thing exported? Because I have to have connections, I have to have a massive company. These are the opportunities for people with great ideas. In other words, Leo, this is an investment forum, a forum where ideas are welcome. People with enterprise and ideas come and see how you can create wealth for yourself and your colleagues and your family.
You're so correct. Anybody that registers for Caribbean Investment Forum, through the app that we do you can access anybody. You can schedule your B2B meeting with the top investor that is attending, just as you would as the person that has a $500 million company. That is the beauty, and that is where a lot of time people just spend their time in B2B meetings, because imagine you're getting business people from across the region. In the past forum, we had folks from 45 different countries. This is the time for you to have, as you mentioned, diligence and enterprise to get your idea out, because that is a one-stop shop for you to be able to do that. So for us, for us, it's more of a call to action for everybody. If you have an idea, if you want to make your business grow, this is the flagship business forum for the region, and it's also something that is put together by Caribbean Export. So it's also a chance to engage with us. We work with enterprises from mom and pop shops of two people to large corporates, so it's a good way for us to engage.
Gentlemen, lastly, I want to end with this one. I want you to think.
Sure.
How do you imagine the Caribbean should see itself on this day in sports, talking about right now as things are now? How should the Caribbean see itself as an investment destination? Chris, you first.
I think that there's been enough signaling in the international space to tell us that we need to reduce our reliance on some of the traditional partners and start to work together more. And I think this platform is an excellent opportunity for us to begin working on that.
Leo?
There's a reason why the Caribbean Investment Forum's theme this year is smart, green, and connected.
Yes.
That's how the Caribbean should see itself. It's a place where innovation happens, where we're going to be resilient, and we're going to work together to be able to reach our development goals.
And Leo, where should people go to just look at the registration details for the event? The Jumper website?
Yes, you can. The Jumper website, but there's a link there from the Caribbean Export website.
Yes.
But then www.caribbeaninvestmentforum.com shares it all.
And if you didn't get that, just go to Google and type in Caribbean Investment Forum 2025, and the relevant things will come. Okay?
You can reach us at Jampro through there. You can call us at Jampro at 978-7755. That's area code 876, of course. And we will help you that way as well.
Excellent. All right, gentlemen, I wish you all the best.
Thank
and for the region's sake, this needs to be a success.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent.
See you in Montego Bay?
Yes, you shall. You shall.
Great.
Why not? Why not? It's always a good time to go to Montego Bay. All right, so Caribbean Investment Forum 2025, July 29 to 31, Montego Bay, St. James. Jampro is hosting. Some heavy hitters are set to be there. But guess what? The heavy hitters will be you with your ideas and your enterprise and the financing that you can muster to create wealth for yourself, for your family, for the country you live in, and for the region you call home. It's a great opportunity for business in the world. Even with the uncertain tailwinds up north, it's still a great time to do some investment. That's my time here on Lead Story this evening. I make way for the news at 7.